The team's been on a roll as of late. Got to be happy about that.
Absolutely. Extreme Couture's been on a roll like a hunchback doing somersaults.
Who have you been the most impressed with?
Well, I mean, all the guys have been in here, banging it out. They're diligent. They're doing their homework. They're putting in the time and making the sacrifices. And I think that's what shows when they step in the ring. I mean, Martin's an amazing example. I talk about a guy who's improved his wrestling and grappling abilities to the point where he's a scary submission cat now, and he was a kickboxer. I mean, that's predominantly where he came from. So that's the kind of diligence and hard work that he's been putting in. To see Mike Pyle kind of coming into his own and blossoming, with 2 knockouts in a row. Mike has been one of the most talented guys that I've had the privilege to train with for years, and to see him kind of garner the psychological skills to go out and implement those tools and that talent has been fun to watch. The whole team from top to bottom, we're disappointed that Evan got injured and couldn't compete, and he was kicking himself after the way that fight turned out, and his replacement did so well, and that would have been a big win for him, and I'm sure that had he not been injured, that's probably the way it would have went. But I think the team overall has just done a fantastic job. Ray Sefo coaching a lot of the guys. Tim Lane working on a lot of the guys with their kickboxing. Neil Melanson and Vinny working on the grappling and the ground game. Dennis Davis has stepped up now and really kind of filling that MMA coach role for the team. And that's been a big part of kind of the flow of practice, and different days of different emphasis, sometimes small gloves, sometimes big gloves. Wednesdays is wrestling day. They come in here with no gloves and wrestle with Kyle Griffin, and not a lot of these guys have been exposed to wrestling. So I think kind of mixing it up and keeping the guys moving and fresh and progressing as athletes has been a big part of that success.
Would you say the team is as strong as ever right now?
I think the team here at Extreme Couture looks as good as I've ever seen it. The atmosphere here in the gym is a very, very good one. It feels like a good place. Everybody's relaxed. Everybody's working hard, pushing each other to the max, and I think they're reaping the benefits of that.
I just want to talk about Kampmann's situation right now. What are your thoughts on Kampmann and where he stacks up against the other welterweights in the world at this point?
Well, I think Kampmann's win, this last win, it puts him real close to #1 contender status in that weight class, in that division. I think between him and Johnny Hendricks, you're probably looking at the next title shot after we settle the dispute between Condit and George. And so I think it's a logical progression that we're going to see Johnny Hendricks and Martin Kampmann fight. With Hendricks just coming off the win over Koscheck. So that'll be a very, very interesting fight. Both guys dangerous in a lot of different ways. So he just continues to. I'm not sure that he's won a round in the last 3 fights, but he certainly won the last 3 fights in very, very convincing fashion.
He's another guy that's had the struggles, the up and downs in his career. Haunted by injuries. Potential title fight against Rich Franklin at one point in time, and then to see him lose some decisions that could have went either way. If you discredit a decision against Shields that could have went either way, and the
Sanchez fight.
Yeah, and the Diego Sanchez fight. Kampmann could be on a 7-fight winning streak, and he's already got a win over the interim title holder.
I think Martin, in a lot of ways, is the perfect example of it's not always whether you win or lose that's important. It's how you compete. And Martin has been in some amazingly competitive fights. I, for one, thought he beat Shields. I, for one, was sure he beat Sanchez. I thought he won those 2 fights, but he still went out there, put it on the line, put on a great show. And I'm glad that the UFC has rewarded him and kept bringing him back and giving him the opportunity to continue to be the exciting fighter that he is. And those were tough fights, and they didn't go his way. But again, I think it's not always about winning. It's about what you do when you step out there.
Well, Randy, we appreciate your time. Before we let you go, is there anybody you want to say thanks to or give a shout out to?
Oh, I got a great team, a great staff here at Extreme Couture, and in a lot of ways they make me look good. So thanks to all those guys that are putting in the time and working hard here.